this special holiday edition of Neighborhood Views What's New Malden. Get ready for the holiday season with a special guest to talk about New England's colder months. Go behind the scenes of MATV's annual meeting and revisit some of our favorite segments from the past year, highlighting Malden's growing foodie scene. What's new, Malden? Here are your co-hosts Sharon Filia and Sam Baltrusis from MATV's Neighborhood View. Want a taste of Chinatown? Head over to Malden Square. Ming's Seafood Restaurant, located in the former Granada Theater building at 19 Pleasant Street, opened in March 2016. The cuisine consists of fresh seafood, vegetables, and meat dishes, including dim sum. They also serve beer and wine. Hua Lam Kung Fu and Tai Chi Academy perform their traditional lion dance to bring good luck to the new restaurant. Ming's owners have invested nearly $2 million to improve the facade and interior, creating a posh dining experience right here in Malden Square. What's new, Malden? Ming's Seafood on Pleasant Street.
Ah, paradise. Welcome to Provincetown, Massachusetts. Known as the spot where the Pilgrims first set foot in the New World in 1620, this quiet fishing village located on the tip of Cape Cod is a popular tourist destination for both the living and the dead. Yes, human monsters once roamed Provincetown's picturesque and sand-swept streets. Our first stop is the Lancey Mansion on Commercial Street. Built by Benjamin Lancey for his mother in the late 1880s, the mansion was designed to emulate a Beacon Hill brownstone. Passers-by have spotted a lady in black, who reportedly peeks out of the mansion's cupola. Yes, it's the very spot where Lancey propped up his dead mother during the winter, as they patiently waited for the cemetery's ground to thaw. Over at the Victoria House on Standish Street is the former home to Provincetown's very own serial killer, Tony Chop Chop Costa. According to reports from this former bed and breakfast, guests would hear disembodied whispers throughout the house, and the occasional scream of a female voice emanating from Costa's old haunt, Room 4. Some believe that Costa may have tortured his victims in the Victoria House, similar to Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, before murdering, removing their hearts, and burying them in Truro. Yes, Costa was a heartless killer. For many more tales from the crypt, check out Paranormal Provincetown by author Sam Baltrusis, coming out in the fall of 2016. Yes, darkness lurks in the shadows of paradise.
Special Halloween edition of Neighborhood Views What's New. Go behind the scenes of one of the state's most haunted locations, the USS Salem in Quincy, and learn about the world-class haunted house attraction called Ghost Ship Harbor. Travel back in time with Salem Witch Trials expert Catherine Rutkowski, who will talk about the spectacular new event called Haunting at Witch Hill in Topsfield. And chat with Halloween Nation author Leslie Ballantyne about trends associated with All Hallows Eve. What's new for Halloween? Here are your ghoulish co-hosts Sharon Filia and Sam Baltrusis from MATV's Neighborhood View.
In the January 2017 edition of What's New Massachusetts, hop on the Orange Line and check out Somerville's posh new Assembly Row community. Get a helping of Southern Kin Cookhouse's biscuits and gravy. Whip out that paintbrush and get your creative juices flowing at Muse Paint Bar. And meet a new face or two at Somerville Community Access TV. What's new, Massachusetts? Here are your co-hosts Sam Baltrusis and Sharon Filia. In the February edition of What's New, Massachusetts, head over to Cambridge's Harvard Square and satiate your Valentine's Day sweet tooth with the chocolate creations from Somerville on the Charles, a seasonal market featuring heavenly bonbons from Somerville Chocolate's Eric Parks and Gâté Comme des Filles' Alexandra Wisnant. Chat with Mark Levy, the mastermind behind the online publication Cambridge Day, and learn about the latest developments happening in the city known as the most innovative square mile on the planet. What's new, Massachusetts? Here are your co-hosts Sam Baltrusis and Sharon Filia. In the March 2017 edition of What's New, Massachusetts, hop on the Red Line and check out the historic Quincy Center. The City of Presidents has a treasure trove of new restaurants, including K. Katie's Burgers. Head down Hancock Street for the new Venetian-style Baccaro called Zef Cacchetti and Raw Bar, sister restaurant and next-door neighbor to Alba. and chat with Quincy's Kerry Byrne, a former food critic with the Boston Herald, about the city's bustling new foodie scene. What's new, Massachusetts? Here are your co-hosts Sam Baltrusis and Sharon Filiaw. What's new in Provincetown for 2017? On May 12th through 14th, join Paranormal Provincetown author and What's New Massachusetts co-host Sam Baltrusis for a 3-day paranormal experience at the allegedly haunted Provincetown Inn, located at 1 Commercial Street. Baltrusis has assembled a motley crew of paranormal A-listers, including Provincetown's own Adam Berry from TLC's Kindred Spirits, Ghost Hunters, and Ghost Hunters Academy. Berry will be joined with Amy Bruni, his fellow investigator from Ghost Hunters and on-air partner from Kindred Spirits. Sponsor hotels in addition to the Provincetown Inn include Harbor Hotel Provincetown, located at 698 Commercial Street. This retro-style hotel is close to everything P-Town offers, but far enough away to enjoy perfect Cape summers, which include fire pits and an amazing new restaurant in the open air called Whaler Restaurant and Lounge. If you're looking for more of the historic B&Bs the Cape is known for, book your stay at the Provincetown Hotel at Gabriel's, located at 102 Bradford Street, the Revere House at 14 Court Street, or the Somerset House Inn, located at 378 Commercial Street. Like the Provincetown Hotel at Gabriel's and the Revere House, the Somerset House Inn is a historic building with modern amenities. All 12 guest rooms have private bathrooms and air conditioning, free parking included. For more information about the Provincetown Paracon happening May 12th through 14th, visit provincetownparacon.com.
I want to thank my family for supporting me. I want to thank my fellow students for collaborating so well with me. And I want to thank my professors for pushing me out of my comfort zone. Beacons, let's set the world on fire. Hi, I'm Mike Cultrera, and welcome to What's New Malden. Here I am with Jody Zalk, the co-founder and co-facilitator of Malden Reads. Hi, Jody. How are you?
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me here on the Red Planet. I wore my red coat to be on the Red Planet here. Thank you.
No problem. So what's new with Malden Reads this April?
Well, we have a busy April coming up. We have a number of community dinners with our Malden Eats partners. We have programs going on in the schools and also programs at the library, and we'll be also showing our main film screening. We'll be showing The Martian at the high school.
So Shep Doleman, who is a Malden resident, he'll be he'll be hosting the stargazing event. How did that come about?
So we have a stargazing event at Waits Mount, and it was an idea that came up through our brainstorming sessions, and we're so excited to share this hidden gem with the community.
Great. So Susaku Bistro, the Japanese restaurant, they'll be hosting the Malden Eats event pretty soon. What can local foodies expect to get out of that?
So this is our new Japanese fusion restaurant in Malden, and I'm so excited to try it out for our Malden Reads and Malden Eats community dinner. For community dinners, we always want to have what we call table talk cards, and they're little conversation starters for folks who may have or may not have read the book to make sure that everybody feels included. And we'll have fixed price dinner. Dinner is $15 or $20 for each of the different restaurants in our series. And good time, good food. So that's certainly what we expect here as we do for all of our community dinners.
Yes, come hungry indeed.
Yes.
So tell us about Malden Reads' involvement with the Red Cross.
So we're so excited to have this program in the schools. We always have a great partnership with the schools and want to make sure that they're really using and engaging with the books. And this year, because again, the Red Planet, we're thinking about survival as one of our themes this year, translating that from The Martian to schools. We have this partnership with the American Red Cross. They have a pillowcase project for all the fourth graders. They'll be in each of the elementary schools this spring to work through pillowcases. And the pillowcases aren't for sleeping on, but for students to take home and to use for emergency preparedness. They put all of the things that they'll need to take in a quick hurry if they need. So we're so pleased to be able to offer this with the Malden Public Schools and the Red Cross.
It's a very good cause. Well, thank you, Jody, so much for coming in. Well, for more information on everything we talked about, go to maldenreads.org. And now we have a clip from the Malden Reads Opening Day celebration. I'm Mike Cultrera for What's New Malden.
In this edition of Cult Status, I look back at the 2015 murder case of Dee Dee Blanchard, a Missouri mother whose daughter, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, fell victim to Munchausen syndrome as a result of Dee Dee's care. After 23 years of dealing with the emotional and physical mistreatment by her mother, Gypsy fatally stabbed Dee Dee, and the long-running deception of Dee Dee caring for her terminally ill child quickly unraveled. According to BuzzFeed.com, Dee Dee Blanchard originally raised her daughter Gypsy in the New Orleans area, and from early in Gypsy's life, she became overly fixated on her daughter's health, visiting doctors at every turn in an attempt to convince them that Gypsy was suffering from multiple ailments. She originally tried to deceive her ex-husband, Rod, whom she divorced from during her pregnancy, by telling him that doctors had found a chromosomal defect in Gypsy. And from there, the signs of Munchausen by proxy truly took hold. Over the course of the next several years, Dee Dee subjected Gypsy to countless hospital visits, unnecessary surgeries on her eyes, anti-seizure medications that she didn't need, and, by her teenage years, she put Gypsy on a strict diet of Pedialyte and intravenous food, which she fed her through a feeding tube. The latter was to help convince neighbors, friends, hospitals, and charity workers that Gypsy was terminally ill and suffering from muscular dystrophy, all things that had been previously disproven by doctors. This charade was already well enacted by Dee Dee when she and Gypsy relocated to Springfield, Missouri in 2005. As reported by People.com, Dee Dee told her new neighbors and the local hospitals that she and her daughter had lost their previous home and medical records in Hurricane Katrina. In Springfield, Dee Dee and Gypsy had moved into a home built by Habitat for Humanity, which was only one of a long line of charities that Dee Dee had deceived over the years. Among other organizations that had helped them, Ronald McDonald House had at one point sheltered Dee Dee and Gypsy in one of their properties, since they were convinced of Gypsy's illnesses. All the while, the Blanchards' new neighbors all bought the story that Gypsy was a wheelchair-bound, terminally ill teenager, and all viewed Dee Dee as a selfless, caring mother who even extended her graciousness to people in the community, all in an attempt to gain the attention and money she wanted in light of her daughter's situation. Finally, in 2015, Gypsy was beyond scarred from the deception she felt forced to take part in. By this time, her mother had been lying about her age. She still told locals that her daughter was a teenager, hence the fact that Gypsy was small and underweight for her age. It is now known that, in an effort to find life outside of this proverbial prison, she met a Wisconsin man online whom she then managed to meet in person and started to date. This man, Nicholas Godejohn, is whom she escaped to after fatally stabbing her mother at home on June 14, 2015. Gypsy was found at Nicholas's home just one day after Dee Dee's body was discovered, all thanks to a series of vicious-sounding tweets that were posted from Nicholas's IP address. Both were promptly taken into custody and have admitted to the crime in one way or another. Gypsy has pled guilty to second-degree murder and is now serving a 10-year sentence. Nicholas eventually admitted that he killed Dee Dee in order to free Gypsy from her. He is currently awaiting trial and a mental evaluation. While my heart absolutely aches at the saga of Gypsy Blanchard, there is no reason in the world that can justify the action she took against her mother. While Dee Dee's control over her was suffocating, there could have been some way for her to have reached out to anyone, the father that always tried to be in her life, friends in the community, and even law enforcement officials, in an attempt to shed light on what was essentially a hostage situation. While she no longer has her mother to contend with, she will not know the meaning of true freedom until her sentence is over. Perhaps when she is released, she can give back to the community by advocating for Munchausen syndrome victims, and hopefully find ways to help them that don't include violence. This has been Mike Cultrera for Cult Status.
So we're going to end the show with a clip with our director, Mike Cultrera. He celebrated his 30th birthday at my apartment complex.
Yep, and he's a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful man, and we had a lot of fun.
welcome to the premiere edition of What's New Massachusetts. Welcome to the April edition of What's New Massachusetts. My name is Sam Baltrusis. I'm an author and journalist. Joining me is my lovely co-host Sharon Filia.
How are you, Sam?
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, Sam. How are you?
Hey, Sharon.
Hey, Sam. How are you?
Hey, doing really well. So we're talking about Boston.
Yes.
And we're going to Provincetown.
That's right.
So we just got back from Salem.
We sure did. It was great. And, Salem is known, traditionally for the Salem witch trials of 1692, but there's so much more. It's really changing.
So we're revisiting my home, which is Assembly Row.
We sure are. There are a lot of changes going on. We talked about that prior to taping today. There were quite a few stores closing, but then a lot of new construction, a lot of new things are happening.
Yeah, so the Kenneth Cole store closed, which is where I get my clothes, and I was like really so
I know you're bummed about that.
And you went to Pendleton, right?
Pendleton, which I love. I've been shopping there for years, and I got some good deals, though. But they're closing. It was kind of sad. They were selling everything.
So what's your title? So you're the Director of Development?
Right.
For Federal Realty, and you're in charge of Assembly Row.
Right. I'm in charge of the development piece of Assembly Row.
Right.
So it's myself, and then there's a general manager who essentially runs and operates what we have already existing.
Did you have any idea that it was going to be as popular as it is?
We've been pleasantly surprised. I've been pleasantly surprised. We had an inkling of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And we understood that the product that we were going to deliver would be something unique in the marketplace. But more, I think, more surprising to us has been just how strong of an impact the tea has had on the success of Assembly and what that's meant for our community. It is the fundamental building block for what's happened over there in that neighborhood.
I have to totally agree with you on that, because the tea, having access to the tea has been so important. As I live in Ava, Somerville, and living there, I don't use the tea a lot because I'm always either eating there or I spend so much time in Assembly Row.
Which is great.
Yeah. So your background leading up to this, you have a big event coming up in September and October,
Yes.
and this is why you're here. So it's the Salem Horror Fest, and tell me about that.
Oh, long time coming. I'm a huge Halloween freak. I just have always been drawn to Salem. Grew up on Elvira, and
I love Elvira.
Who doesn't? And Joe Briggs on TNT's Monster Vision, and so growing up as this, sort of bullied gay boy, really latched on to these horror hosts, and for me, horror, because of them, they sort of recontextualized horror in a fun, wild, spunky way. And so I have this sort of nostalgic, cheery feeling when it comes to horror that some people don't really get. I'm like, oh, it's so much fun, blood and guts. But it's largely due to the fact that Elvira and Joe Briggs kind of brought humor to it, and there's a sort of craft and satire that comes with the horror genre that I've always really latched onto.
So it's very interesting. This particular tavern was around for a very long time, so the sociological impact was profound. This is where people went to find out the real news about what was going on.
That's right. And so taverns at this time were a great place to convene. You could go and get something to eat, get something to drink, but also you would hear the local news. And this often took place by someone in the tavern reading a newspaper aloud. Not everyone could read at the time, and so this functioned in some ways like having a CNN television on in the back of a tavern today. Someone would read the newspapers aloud, and then it'd be discussed and argued about. And so taverns were a place not just to go and drink, but it was a place to get news, get informed, maybe share your viewpoint aggressively or not.
Do you think that diners will ever die out? Do you think that there will always be a place for diners?
I hope so. I really do. I mean, there was a huge resurgence in popularity from the 1980s through the 90s into the 2000s. It seemed to be leveled off a bit, but I've always contended it doesn't matter if a diner tries to trade on a 50s nostalgia thing or whatever. What they really need to do is provide good food at a good price and excellent service.
And what I think is most important is that the experience that you have when you're there. You just feel good, you feel comfortable, and I think that's what's most important. And we'll always make it a part of Americana.
For sure.
Santa, I have a list. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First of all, I want champagne flowing in a jacuzzi. Can you do that?
We'll see what Santa can do.
And then I want a trip to Las Vegas. And then I want a big car, maybe a Lexus. And I want a mink coat. And I want a big basket of chocolate.
You have quite a list.
I do. I have more. Do you want to hear?
I don't think we have time.
Yes, you do. I want some Louboutin shoes, 10 pair, please. Let's see. And another shopping spree in New York. And I've got a lot more. Maybe I can continue this later.
I think you better.
Yeah.
We'll see what Santa can do for all those wishes.
Okay, Santa. Thank you.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.